300? Or is this the 300 subscribers special? No, we did that. We're almost at 350 viewers.
Wow.
On our way to 1 Brazilian subs.
Maybe the first to 1 Brazilian subscribers. And boy, I cannot wait.
Viva Brazil. Brazil
numero uno.
Welcome back, everybody, to Peggle. Ooh, I missed that. Quinn's on the sticks today because your boy Salvy's got an extra special story.
Ooh, well, lather me up and tell me.
Full stop, period.
I'm not sure where I was going with that.
Well, lather me up. Okay, so I went to England recently, and my parents went to Portugal and then met us in England.
Right.
So me and my aunt flew to England together. And my aunt's great, but she's a terrible traveler because she's just a really nervous person who,
right.
Just if you're a nervous person, traveling's not good for you. Moving around and TSA and that kind of stuff, it's just not a good time. But I knew and I knew that I was gonna have to be the adult. Because I've traveled a lot. I'm only 22, and I've been on a lot of big trips. So
subtle flex, but
yeah,
okay.
I know. Just flex like that. But no, I deserve to flex after this story, dude. You're not even ready for this shit. You're gonna have to be lathered up twice. But we fly from here to Toronto, but the flight was delayed, so we missed our connecting flight. So we stand in line with Air Canada for a while, and they get us tickets. They're like, all right, so you're going to fly to Halifax and then Halifax to London. And we ended up getting there 12 hours later than we were supposed to. But so we go to stand in at the gate for the Halifax flight, and it's going to be 30 minutes. And I'm on no sleep. It's been 20 hours since we left from here, and I haven't eaten anything, so I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, can I get some money for the vending machine? Because I don't have any change. She's like, yeah. So she gives me some change. I go to the vending machine. I try for 5 minutes. Shit does not work. It does not take
That's
the coins.
vending machine moments.
It just
never
goes
work.
straight through.
Yeah.
So I come back, and this is the first time we've been apart for 20 hours or whatever. And she's like something's wrong. I can tell something's wrong. And she's like, okay, I'm panicking. And I'm like, all right, what's wrong? And she's like, I locked my suitcase with this little lock. And I'm like, okay. And I'd seen this before we left. She'd showed me it.
Yep.
Her suitcase has this lock on it. I've actually got it in the other room. It's this little brass lock, nothing serious.
Yeah, I've got a tiny lock.
Yeah, tiny little lock,
I don't
yeah.
use it, but...
And the first thing I thought when I saw that, because it locks the zipper together, was that's a horrible idea. When you're traveling, locking your suitcase just is a bad idea because, first of all, if someone wants to get into your suitcase, they'll get into it, dog.
Yeah.
They're just going to cut it open.
Yeah.
There's something. They're going to get into it. And secondly, you want another little object. You've got to keep your boarding pass. You got to keep your passport. You got to keep your wallet. You got to keep your whatever. And a little key that can get lost anywhere, right? So as a traveler, experienced traveler, I took one look at that lock. I'm like, that is a horrible idea.
Right.
So anyway, she's like, I don't know where the key is. I locked the lock and I don't know where the key is. I'm like, okay, well, do you need to get anything out of your suitcase? I'm thinking we just got our tickets and stuff, our passport. She has her passport. We just got our boarding pass for this London or this Halifax flight.
Yeah.
She shouldn't need anything, right? It should all be in her pockets. And she's like, yeah, my passport's in there, and my boarding pass. And I'm like, okay, well, and I'm like, all right, that's weird, but you can just get your boarding pass on your phone.
Yeah.
She's like, my phone's in there too. And I'm just
why?
What? And I didn't say this. I'm thinking, why? Why would you put all your stuff in your suitcase?
And then lock it.
And then lock it. You have a backpack, or pockets. I don't know. It's absurd to me.
That's ridiculous.
The 5 seconds I was gone, or 5 minutes I was gone, she put everything she would ever need into her suitcase and then locked it, and now can't find the key. And so literally what I said was, wow, you are really testing me right now. And I don't mean my patience, because I've never yelled at anyone in my life. I just don't operate like that. what I meant was like my like being in charge type of like getting us there, you know? Like my parents were like, hey, she's a terrible traveler, so make sure you get her there, okay? So, I'm just like, wow, you're really testing me. All of your shit, we're boarding in 20 minutes, and your boarding pass, your phone, your passport, everything is locked inside the suitcase, and we assume the key is locked in there too. Like, you put everything in this bitch. So I just take the suitcase, and I just say to her, like, okay, stay here, I will... I don't know. I'm gonna
go find someone
I'm gonna go
cut it
figure,
open,
I'm gonna go figure this shit out. So... Firstly, I walk up to the pilot of the plane, who's also like in this huge line for this Halifax flight.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, so this is gonna sound crazy, but my aunt locked all her stuff inside the suitcase, blah, 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 blah. Do you know any way we could get, like, tools to open this suitcase? Because I'm thinking, like, it's an airport. Surely they have to break into a suitcase every now and then.
Yeah.
If not daily, right? If there's a suspicious package or whatever, right? They'd have to open the, right? So they gotta have some sort of shit. This is a crucial shot, dude. You can get all four of these. Ooh, nice. So I go to security, and I have to like, I can't get too close to security because it's all the TSA. So I'm like yelling, I'm like, hey guys, like, blah blah blah, explain the situation. They're like, oh, like we don't have any tools up here because this is just TSA. Like, go down to like the side security room. So I go down the escalator and I go to the side security room, and again I can't like enter it, and it's just like 6 or 7 people, and they're all just like laughing and like about to go home for the night, and then here comes white boy in here, hey, I need tools to like break into this thing, and they're like, yeah, we don't have any tools in here, and then one guy's like, oh, I've got some scissors. I'm like, okay, that's not gonna work, but I'm like, all right, fine, because what I'm trying to do is break the lock, right? I don't want to break her bag open yet, but I know I can do that later. So I get the scissors, one cut with the lock, scissors break in half. And they were like hefty scissors too. They just break. So then I'm like, all right, I take one half of the scissors that are now in 2 pieces. I start sawing the lock. Doesn't work. I give him the scissors back, and he goes, you broke them. And I just say, yeah, they broke on the first try, dog. And I just walk away. I talk to a few more people. No one knows anything. Then it hits me. Like, the flight is definitely boarding now. Like, totally boarded. Probably like 3 or 4 zones in. And I'm thinking, like, okay, now I need to cut the bag open. Like, we're at that point where I just need to cut this bitch open. So I go back to the thing. I'm like, hey, that pair of scissors, can I have it back? And he's like, no, you broke them. And I'm like, yeah, I know I broke them. But I just need like one half of scissors so I can like break into this thing. And he's like, no, dude, you broke them. I'm not giving them back to you. And I'm like, yeah, I broke them. I know. Just give them back to me. You don't need them. You're gonna throw them out. And he's like, no, you broke them. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Go away. And I'm like, dude, stop being so stubborn. Like, please give me these scissors. Do you want me to pay for them? He's like, it's not about the money. And I'm like, oh my, like, you work at the Toronto airport. You work at the biggest airport on the second biggest country on earth. Like, just, you can buy more scissors. Just give me these scissors. But he's being so stubborn about it. And I turn around, and there's this woman sitting in one of those like the carts that like drive people around the airport. Right. And she's like watching me do this. And by the way, I didn't mention this, but like multiple times I gave up, and I was just standing in the middle of the airport thinking like, I'm out of ideas. I don't know what to do. Right. But every time I'm like, no, I gotta try one more thing. Like, so anyway, I'm giving up, and I just start standing there. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do now? And she like calls over to me. She's like, I have a hair clip. And I'm like, to pick the lock? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how to pick a lock. But I'm like, whatever. So I grab it from her, and I just start jamming that shit in there. And it's big enough that like the pin is small enough, and the lock is small enough that that'll fit. So for about 3 minutes, I just in and out, I'm pulling it, I'm just wiggling that shit around. She's giving me advice like she's some master criminal. She's like, man, I think you have to like hook it on to something. Yeah. And she doesn't know. And like 3 minutes, I'm just like, please, I'm like, God, this is my one time. Like, please, just open this shit up. And finally, the lock pops, and I stand up. I'm like, yes, and I go, I could kiss you right now. And I hand her back the hair clip. Yeah. And she's like, I don't want it. And I just chuck that shit. I just throw it across the airport floor, and I start sprinting. And I get back to the airplane gate, and I'm like, I got it! I picked the lock! I'm yelling it to her. The airport's dead, and the whole, like, it was hundreds of people getting on this flight, and it's just my aunt standing at the thing now.
Yeah.
And I run up, I crack that thing open. Right on top of all of her clothes is her phone, her boarding pass, her passport, and the key. Like, just all, like, you can't make that shit up. You can't make that shit up. Like, what was she cooking?
Literally nothing. She forgot to turn on the stove, like, straight up.
And I whip out the boarding pass. I give her all the stuff she needs, and she kept like, I'm so sorry, and I was buzzing so hard. Like, I was like on top, because like that's like a once in a lifetime type of thing. Like, when do you ever get to do that?
Yeah.
And like, it's such a good story, obviously. And then I was planning to sleep on the plane because I'm on no sleep. And I sit down and someone stole my fucking window seat. It's some old lady. I'm like, it's fine. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I tell the two people I'm sitting next to the whole story because they wanted to hear it. And then for the hour and a half, I just cannot fall asleep. I've got earbuds in, headphones over the earbuds, face mask on, or sorry, eye mask on, like the sleeping thing. And I could not stop replaying everything over in my head. I get no sleep at all. But yeah, it's fucking crazy. And the thing is, if we missed that flight, we would have had to pay like $5,000 to get another flight, and then I probably would have missed the Manchester United game that I went to.
Oh yeah,
like, it would have been catastrophic if I went to. And then I was talking to my dad about it later, and he was like, "Did you ever consider just leaving her?" And I was like, "No, of course not." And he's like, "Well, because you would have missed the Manchester United game." And I was like, I wasn't thinking about that.
He's got his priorities straight. That
and like, and the thing is, like, yeah, it is her fault. Like, I could have gone without her. And then I was also talking to him about this, like. When I was replaying over my head, one thing I realized was at no point during the whole ordeal was I stressed. I was just like in full focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was just pure get this job done. Like I'll be honest, I can be socially awkward. Like, I don't like social situations as much as you might think I do, because I know I come off as an extrovert, and I think I am one. But there's a lot of times where I hate social situations, especially like airport stuff, like I don't know.
Right.
I don't like that kind of shit. But I didn't, like, I just couldn't worry about it. I just had to go up to talk to people. I had to yell at the guy to give me his scissors that he wouldn't give me, and all that stuff. Anyway, that'll be it for this episode, everybody. That's probably a top 5 story in my life. I don't think, like, that is like all-time terrible situation to be in.
Oh yeah.
And your boy literally clutches
last second
by picking a lock.
By pixels.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody.
Okay, what's up? Goodbye.